So now before we see pictures of the blowing process and so forth, you should know a little bit about how glass is blown. Now glass is blown by a team of blowers, well, a team of 3 or 4 people, including a blower, a gatherer, a servitor, and a young apprentice called the carrion boy. Now first the gatherer gathers some glass. He takes a 6-foot blowpipe and he opens a little door on the side of the oven, on the side of the furnace, the thing called the glory hole, and he sticks this blowpipe in there and he gathers just exactly the perfect amount of glass on the blowpipe. Now it has to be a practiced thing, and he knows whether to gather something the size of a walnut, the size of a golf ball, the size of a tennis ball, a baseball, or a softball, because we can't have waste. And he gathers this on the end of his blowpipe and he turns it in his hand, he blows a little air on it, and then he goes over to a clean metal slab that's nearby and he rolls this on this piece of metal. It's called a marver, and it congeals the piece. If there are air bubbles and so forth in this little glob of glass he has, that works those to the surface and they get rid of them, and he rolls it a few times, blows it a little air in it, and at this point it's probably cooled from 2800 degrees to maybe 2700, and he delivers it to the cutter. And the cutter sits at a bench with long arms. I'm sorry, not the cutter, the blower. He delivers it to the blower, who sits, I'm getting ahead of myself, and the blower sits here at a bench, and he doesn't get up very often, and people wait on him. And he has these 2 long arms, and he rolls this piece back and forth because gravity plays a big role in the production of glass. And as gravity pulls it down, while he continues to reshape it with wooden tools, and when he needs to expand it and make it a little larger or change the basic shape of it, then he, of course, blows a little more air into it and so forth. So as the blower then shapes the piece, the servitor is standing there watching what's going on. All right, the servitor watches what the blower is doing, and as he sees this blank on the end of the blower's blowpipe turn from red hot to orange hot to yellow hot, he knows it's time to reheat it. And the servitor's job is to pick that piece up from the blower, take it over and stick it in the hole in the side of the oven, the side of the furnace, the place called the glory hole. He sticks it in there and rotates it in his hands rapidly so that it doesn't change shape, but it gets red hot again. He returns it back to the glass blower, who continues to shape it and so forth. Now, as he is shaping this piece, I'm going to pick a decanter here and show you basically what happens. Now, let's assume that the blower's blowpipe is right on here. It's fastened right here, and he is rolling this piece back and forth, and he is shaping this end of it. Of course, it has no handle on it yet, so without a handle, it is just in this basic shape, and he's rolling it back and forth, and he measures it. He's made 500 of these probably, or 1,000, and he knows how big it should be this way, he knows how big it should be that way, but he has tools that measure this. So as he gets it this way, and this part is basically shaped, now he must work on this end of it. So how does he do that? With a signal of just practice from many years, the servitor takes the piece and reheats it at this point. Meantime, the gatherer goes back to the glory hole and gets a small dab of glass, maybe the size of a salted peanut, and he puts that on, not on a blowpipe this time, but on a pottle rod, which is a solid rod, about 6 feet long also. And when they both return to the blower, they lay it on the workbench and where they've been rolling it, and the gatherer touches his pottle rod with the red hot glass right here, and it is now fastened. Meantime, the blower he knows exactly how much glass he needs up here to shape this. He scars this part around here and gives it a sharp tap, and the blowpipe comes off. Okay, the gatherer takes that, he goes over, puts it back in, melts the glass off in the oven, puts the blowpipe in a barrel so no one will touch it until it cools down. Meantime, the blower takes this, now he has the pommel rod on it working this way, and he can continue to shape it, and with wooden tools he shapes this part of the handle in this direction, and when he flares this glass out just a little, he forms his three-way pouring spout. Now that's great.